My mom told my daughter I was faking her illness, then sent a video that broke our family. I found out at dinner when my daughter Mia refused to eat and told me grandma said I was pretending to be sick. My face went numb and I didn't know what to say. My mom sat across from us with this paper smile and said she was worried Mia was being manipulated. Mia had been diagnosed with a chronic illness 2 years earlier. Some days she was fine and some days she couldn't get out of bed. We had scans, blood work, specialists, and a binder full of reports that smelled like hospital paper. Every doctor visit was logged, and I kept a daily symptom journal on my phone. My mom never wanted to read the binder. She called my work breakable and said kids who complain too much learn to get attention. She called one of the specialists a quack and refused to come to appointments. For a long time, I shrugged it off because families argue, and I needed her to babysit sometimes. That night at the table, she reached across and touched Mia's hand and said she didn't believe me. Mia started crying and said grandma told her that her mom was faking so she wouldn't have to go to school. I asked my mom to stop, and she laughed like it was a joke. Mia ran to her room and slammed the door. The next morning, my phone blew up with messages. A video had been posted to our family group chat. My brother texted me and asked if I was okay. My uncle called. My mother had sent the clip to everyone, and then to our extended relatives. The clip showed Mia at the park, running and then jumping on a swing, smiling. I opened the family chat and everyone was forwarding the clip. Comments said, "See, she's fine. What a waste. Why keep claiming illness?" My mother had added a caption calling out fakers and thanked everyone for finally seeing it. My brother wrote that he was so sorry and we needed to talk about what was true. I called my mom. She said she had visited Mia that morning, taken Mia to the park, and recorded her because she wanted proof. She said Mia walked fine and laughed and that I was lying. She said the video showed the truth and if I loved my daughter, I would stop the drama. I drove to my parents' house with the binder and the printed reports in my bag. My hands shook the whole way. I wanted my mom to look at the reports and stop this, to tell everyone she was wrong. I wanted Mia to trust me, not to look at me with confusion. When I arrived, my brother and my parents were already sitting in the living room. My mom handed my phone to my brother like she was passing evidence. He watched the clip and his face went flat. My dad said maybe I should consider my choices as a parent. My mom said she couldn't believe I'd gaslit my own child. I put the binder on the coffee table and opened to the most recent hospital discharge summary. The specialist had written clear notes about orthostatic intolerance and erratic heart rate that explained the flare and the good moments. I flipped to graphs showing heart rate spikes on bad days. I explained how Mia could have a high energy window and then collapse. My dad tapped his fingers on the armrest and said none of that proved the day-to-day. He said people who are sick get better. He said the park clip was proof. My brother avoided looking at me. My mother smiled like she had won. The room felt cold. Then my mom did something I didn't expect. She stood up and said she would help me prove I was faking by sending the video to Mia's school nurse and the pediatrician. She said professionals should see the footage before they believed me. My throat closed. She had already done it, she admitted, because she wanted more eyes on the truth. Within hours, the school nurse had called and asked to meet. The pediatrician's office sent a message asking if Mia had any changes. A social worker called our number and left a voicemail saying someone had reported a concern. My phone started buzzing with texts asking if I was taking Mia to a hospital or if I needed help. Then I found something that changed everything. I had a security camera in our living room that recorded when Mia was home alone during nap times. I pulled the footage up on my laptop and watched the day my mom came over. The camera showed Mia smiling on the swing for a minute. Then she stumbled, sat down on the bench, her face went pale, and she curled up and couldn't stand for an hour. The footage had timestamps and audio. It showed my mother laughing and saying Mia felt fine. It showed my mother handing Mia a juice box and Mia drinking slowly. It showed my mother putting Mia in the car and Mia leaning her head against the window, eyes half closed. My mom left the park carrying a limp backpack while I was at work. I uploaded the unedited footage and sent it to my brother in the family chat. I wrote the timestamps and pointed out the hour Mia was on the bench after the laughing. I wrote that 1 minute of play did not equal healthy. The chat blew up in a different direction. My mother responded saying the camera was edited and that I was trying to manipulate the narrative. 2 days later, a social worker appeared at my front door with emails from the family group chat and the clip my mother had sent. She asked for medical records, for proof Mia had been seen by doctors. I handed over the binder, my phone logs, and the security footage. She took notes and told me she would need to speak to Mia alone. My mom called the social worker and told her Mia had been playing normally during her visit. She said the footage must have been selective and that I was keeping my child from school for attention. The social worker told me they had a report and would investigate. I felt my chest go hollow. They were taking an accusation and turning it into an official case. Everything escalated when my mother emailed the same park clip to a blogger who writes about parenting fraud. The blogger replied publicly and called for stories about fake illnesses. The family group chat had screenshots of the blogger's reply. My cousin's wife posted the clip on her Instagram story asking if anyone else had seen this behavior in family members. The clip was spreading beyond our family. Then my daughter's school called telling me there was pressure from parents to do something about Mia. My daughter's best friend's mom texted to say her husband said my daughter was probably fine. People started avoiding our house. My mother posted another message saying she had only ever wanted truth. I hired a lawyer because the social worker kept asking for records and my mother kept forwarding the part clip to anyone who would listen. The lawyer told me to compile everything. Appointment notes, medication lists, oxygen saturation readings we took at home, cardiology reports, and a log of Mia's symptom flares and good windows. I sat for days in the dining room with papers spread all over and cried until my eyes were raw. I printed doctor's letters and an emergency department intake form showing a week Mia had been bedbound with a heart rate that shot to 160. I printed out my nurse's note for the time she saw Mia collapse at school. I gathered screenshots of the security footage and emails proving my mom had sent the clip to professionals and bloggers. When I handed the packet to the social worker, she flipped through everything like a librarian. Then she asked a question that punched the air out of me. Why did your mother feel the need to get involved so publicly? Had there been tension before? I told her yes, that my mom didn't believe in invisible illness and had a history of minimizing symptoms. The social worker left but said the investigation would continue. In the meantime, the blogger posted the clip with my mother's caption, and our whole town started talking. Schools called asking for statements. My work called asking if I was okay. I called in sick because I couldn't breathe. I had to attend a meeting with the social worker and my lawyer. Then everything blew up when my mother sent a second video. This one was recorded at my sister's house 3 months earlier. In it, Mia was eating ice cream and racing around the backyard playing tag. My mother cut the clip into a montage and added text accusing me of medical play acting and suggested I was doing this for sympathy. I opened the file and stared at each frame. The clips were real. Mia had played. She had also vomited in the car later that day and slept for 18 hours. The montage did not show that. The montage did not show my daughter in the emergency room the week before. But the montage landed like a bomb. My brother texted me saying he couldn't defend me if people thought I was making it up. My aunt stopped answering me. My mother posted the montage to a private neighborhood forum, and people I had never met commented with judgment. Every like was a needle. I called my mom and asked why she would do this. She said she couldn't stand watching me lie. She said she had the right to protect her granddaughter from emotional manipulation. She said if I was truly sick, I would want the truth known. She told me if my daughter's life was more important than pride, I would let them test everything. That night, I sat on Mia's bedroom floor and told her the truth. I held her hair back and helped her brush her teeth. She asked me if Grandma hated her. I couldn't answer. She asked if I was pretending to be sick. I said no, and then cried with her until our cheeks were wet. I decided at that moment I would fight. I made a plan. I asked our cardiologist for a letter and an extended report I could share. I asked our child's therapist to write about how flares impacted development. I pulled years of school nurse logs and doctor appointment confirmations. I printed time-stamped home pulse oximeter readings showing dangerous drops. Then I found something else that changed everything. I was going through an old backup of videos on our family cloud when I saw a folder my mom had accidentally synced to it during a visit. Inside were raw, unedited videos from the park day and others. The park clip my mom shared had been edited to remove the hour Mia spent unable to walk and the moments when she vomited, but the original footage was intact in the cloud. I downloaded the raw footage and time-coded it. I made a short compilation showing the laughing for 1 minute, then the collapse for an hour. Then I set the emergency room 3 days later. I sent it to my lawyer and to the social worker and to the pediatrician with a letter asking for support. When my mother learned I had the raw files, she sent a text that said I was invading her privacy and threatened to sue me for sharing footage from her phone. I emailed back the cloud log showing she had synced the files. She didn't answer. The social worker called a family meeting with my parents, my brother, and me. I walked in with my binder and a flash drive. I put the raw footage on a laptop and told the room exactly what each clip showed and where the edits were. I pointed to the timestamps and let them watch the gaps my mother had cut out. My father squinted at the screen the whole time. My mother stayed silent until the end. Then she stood up and left the room without saying a word. My brother followed her out. My dad sat there shaking his head and then left too. For the first time in months, I felt like maybe truth had a voice. After the meeting, the social worker told me the case would be closed because the evidence supported the child's diagnosis and because there was nothing to suggest I was endangering Mia. She advised me to get a no-contact order for my mom if she kept harassing the school or me. I asked the lawyer about restraining orders. Then everything blew up again. My mom posted screenshots of the cloud log and splintered messages in which she claimed I had stolen her footage and was trying to ruin her reputation. She told our family the social worker had been bribed by me. More people took her side. My brother posted that he wanted to stay out of the mess. My parents stopped coming to our house. For 2 months, I didn't see my own mother. She sent me texts with apologies that pretended to be gentle, but demanded I meet and clear this up. She started showing up at Mia's school events and standing in the back watching. I called the school and they agreed to enforce the no-contact order and ban her from campus. Mia asked once if Grandma would ever be nice again. I didn't know what to say. I told her maybe when people realize truth is not about 1 minute of a video. Then my mom did something I never could have predicted. She showed up at my apartment with a stack of papers and a court order in her hand. She had filed for visitation rights, claiming she was being denied access to her granddaughter. She claimed the no-contact order infringed on family rights and that she wanted supervised visits. The lawyer told me to prepare. We went to court for a temporary hearing. My mother sat across from me with a stiff collar and her lawyer beside her. She said in court that she had only ever wanted what's best for Mia and that I was keeping the child from family. She played the edited montage and tried to argue that the child didn't need medical care beyond basic checkups. I stood up and handed the judge the bundle of reports, the raw footage, the pediatrics letter, the therapist note, and the school nurse logs. I explained the pattern, the edits, the emails to bloggers, and the way the montage had been spread. The judge watched the unedited footage and my mom's montage side by side. He paused and then issued a temporary ruling. Supervised visitation only if the visits were arranged through a court-approved service, and at times that did not interfere with Mia's care. He told both parties this was a serious family dispute and that any attempt to harass the child would be punished. The courtroom felt like someone had finally put a lid on the kettle. After court, my mother didn't speak to me for months. My dad visited once and apologized quietly. My brother texted saying he couldn't reconcile yet. The rest of my family kept a distant politeness. The neighborhood forum quieted down. Mia healed in small ways. She started school part-time with accommodations, and the school nurse met us at the door every day to check her vitals. We kept therapy appointments. Each time Mia had a flare, we documented it. Each time she had a good hour, we documented it too. We stopped arguing with videos and started obeying doctors. Months later, my mom called. Her voice was small, and she said she wanted to see Mia. She sounded older. She hadn't stopped sending accusatory messages, but the court order forced her to do it through lawyers. I said no to seeing her alone and offered supervised meetings. She agreed. The first visit was awkward and short, and Mia clung to me at the end, but smiled when Grandma offered a sticker. The family was not fixed. It was quieter, stitched with boundaries. My brother eventually apologized privately and said he had been manipulated by my mom and by peers. He asked if we could try again slowly. I said I would be open if he stayed away from the blame and followed the rules. My mother never admitted publicly that she edited the clips or that she sent them around. She did stop posting about Mia and stop sharing videos. She sent a note to the judge that she would comply with the order. That was as close to an olive branch as I got. Months after the legal mess, I sat with Mia at her school on a warm afternoon watching her build a block tower with other kids. She laughed, then paused because she felt dizzy and sat down. The teacher helped her, checked her chart, called me. I drove her home and tucked her in for a nap. She reached for my hand, squeezed it, and said thank you for believing me. I didn't know how to end the story for good. Our family was broken in ways that might never fully mend. But the video that broke us also forced truth into daylight and made me fight in a way I had not imagined. We kept the binder on the shelf and added new pages whenever Mia had a flare, and when my mother asked about visits, we arranged them through the court office. I still don't know if she'll ever truly see what she did. I know what she did to my daughter couldn't be undone by a message, but I do know that I stopped pretending everything was fine for the sake of peace. I still don't know how to feel about any of it, but at least the truth was out.